Hey everyone, this is Charting Man Dan. We're doing a trade review video for PCLN over last week. We traded it multiple times and I'm going to show a breakdown of some of those trades. So this is the daily chart for PCLN heading into Monday of last week. We were scouting it for a bounce. We had a very bearish downtrend. We had the lower Bollinger Band as resistance 5 days in a row. RSI was under 23, pretty oversold, and the MACD in a steady downward trend. So we're starting to watch for a bullish reversal candlestick to form. The close at the low of the day on Friday indicated we could see another push down on Monday, and then we'd be scouting for that potential bullish reversal candlestick to form. So let's now zoom in and check out what the 5-minute chart looked like on Monday. So we had PCLN starting off holding pretty steady, a breakdown, a new low, lower high, lower low, so a clear downtrend most of the day. Not even seriously considering any entry into PCLN as we didn't have any signs of a bullish reversal. So we did hit the low of the day here in the afternoon at 150. That was at 1120, the price 1120, and that was a nice psychological round number. So we saw a little bounce unfold, still a lower low, nothing to say an uptrend is beginning. But then as we pulled back again, we set a higher low by $1, and then from there we broke out on increasing bullish volume, broke the 100 period moving average resistance, turning that into support and a nice higher high. So now at this point we have a low, a higher low, an original high, and then a higher high. So at this point, after 3 p.m., you can start scouting the daily charts and anticipate where the day is going to close. Obviously, it is the close of the candlestick that is most important. Oftentimes, if you get into a move before the candlestick does close, it can burn you. But after 3 p.m., you're looking at this daily chart for PCLN and seeing that, okay, there's a doji forming here, a bullish reversal doji at the bottom of the downtrend. Signals could be the start of a turnaround. RSI is still under 23, and we can see that if the price closes around 1136, it's going to form a doji on the daily chart. So going back to Fidelity, in that final hour, I was saying to myself, if we hold this 100 period moving average support, I'm going to look for entry into a PCLN call to hold overnight. Now, I rarely hold positions overnight. I'm a lot more comfortable being all cash, and I like taking it a day at a time, but sometimes I do. Actually, I think about twice in the past few months, I've had a swing trade overnight, and this was one of them. So we entered PCLN calls. I got mine for the 1140 weekly, expiring that Friday at $16.50. One thing I would also like to point out is as we were watching the daily chart for PCLN for how the candlestick was going to shape up after 3 p.m., getting a good idea of being able to assume what it will look like, we were also watching SPY. We use SPY to gauge the overall markets, and we are covering constantly, as members know, because it can give a lot of insight as to what the overall markets are doing, and generally that will impact what the big name stocks, Facebook, Apple, Tesla, all the popular names are doing. So we saw that SPY was forming a bullish reversal candlestick, a long lower wick, a hammer was forming, and we were going to close with that bullish reversal candlestick. The RSI was just getting oversold. So knowing that PCLN had a bullish reversal doji and SPY had a bullish reversal candlestick as well, we were more confident in being able to hold that trade overnight and look for the likelihood of a green day the following day. So back to Fidelity, we'll see how that trade looked. This is the following day. The day started out extremely bullish. We turned the 200 period moving average into support very easily, and we saw a lot of upside in the first 20 minutes. So at that point, the RSI on the 5-minute chart was reaching 79. Anything over 70, we start to look at overbought conditions. So many members, including myself, made our exit after that quick, easy gain. I had those calls for the 1140 weeklies at 1650 the end of the day before and sold them for 27 up here. So one of those calls had a nice $1,100 gain roughly, and the high of the day here for that option was 27.30. So I was pretty proud with that 27 exit, but certainly a reminder that there is no such thing as a perfect trade. There is always going to be money left on the table, and shoulda, woulda, couldas. It's important to be able to move past those and find the next trade. Congratulate yourself on the profit that you did get and move on. So we were watching PCLN for the rest of the day. We saw lower highs and lower lows So not a very bullish hold up after that very strong move to start the day. But we knew that SPY had a run at the end of the day before on Monday. This is now Tuesday. And we started seeing signs here as PCLN saw bounced around the key 100 and 200 period moving average resistances on the 5-minute chart, got above them, set a little higher high, consolidated, held that support, and then continued up. So made a re-entry into PCLN at the end of the day, again here with the 200 period moving average holding as support, and then a similar move to the day before, strong close for the bulls, and it actually got to the point where we were considering holding overnight, but I just wanted to lock in that profit. I got the calls again here at 1640, the same 1140 strike price for the week, and got in at 1640, and about 20-30 minutes later they were worth 21. So wanted to lock that profit in, and ideally not holding anything overnight to limit risk. So that's how the end of that day worked out. We can go back to the daily chart and see what we were now looking at for PCLN. And after our second trade exit, we did have confirmation of the bullish reversal, but we were aware of that upper wick there being rejected from 1160. Did show that there was profit taking, perhaps some bears stepping in. So definitely was more comfortable being out and being all cash heading into the next trading day. So skip a day. Now we're looking at Thursday, January 14th. This is PCLN. We had a big red dump day the day before on Wednesday, and still scouting because we know it's oversold. We've been watching PCLN closely on the week, liking the trading ranges that it shows, the opportunity for either calls or puts, and feeling comfortable with watching how it has been trading. So PCLN started the day off bearish, as did SPY in the overall markets. And then we saw in SPY, as we did here with PCLN, very strong volume, very strong uptrend. On SPY, it was notably different, with volume decreasing to start the morning as usual, and then about 45 minutes into the trading day, big spike in volume. If you want to see the video I did for SPY at the end of January 14th, I highlight the 5-minute chart and that volume. So we see it reflected here in PCLN as well. Very strong move, rejected from the 200 period moving average resistance. So at this point, we had not made a trade. We did not want to get in and chase this move. Did not know how far up it would go. But we did know that PCLN bulls and the market bulls were definitely stirring today. So looking for some calls. We watched the consolidation, lower highs, higher lows, tightening trading range, and we had a clear channel. This is one of the reasons I really like the 5-minute chart. Oftentimes we see a 100 period support, 200 period resistance, or vice versa, creating a channel that the price bounces around in, and it's very clear to see what would be required for a bearish break, losing the support, or a bullish break, turning the 200 period into support. So we watched PCLN closely, didn't force any trades, waited for the trade to come to us, sat on our hands all day waiting for this 200 period moving average to become support, and then again, for the third time this week, we saw a bullish move at the end of the day. So re-entered PCLN calls, the 1120 weekly calls at this point because they expire in 2 days, and that was at 2360. I got in on one of these candlesticks right here after we did turn the 200 period moving average into support, got back above it again and looked strong holding the 20 period moving average support. So entered PCLN, and then from there we saw a very nice quick move to the upside. We saw the price go from 1123 up to a high of 1135 in about a half an hour. So that's a nice $12 gain. Those calls were purchased at 2360 and sold them for a quick couple $100 at 2560. Just because, again, in these market conditions, holding overnight on anything is extremely high risk. Didn't get any strong signs of a bounce that we were looking for, and definitely just wanted to be all cash at the end of the day again today. And that is what happened. A lot of other traders felt the same way, and we pulled back. Did hold the 200 period moving average support into the end of the day, but at that point, all those gains had been given up from that nice half-hour move. So those were 3 days of PCLN trades. You can see how we utilize the 5-minute charts. We compare them to the daily charts, and we compare them to the market overall. So certainly a lot of factors to take into consideration, but it definitely broadens the scope that you have on what is going on. I like to view the analogy of having more pieces to the puzzle to get a more clearer picture of what is most likely to happen. So if you have any questions, by all means ask me. I'm certainly going to be looking at PCLN heading into next week for continued signs of perhaps bullishness if we see that in the markets, and if not, we can play it on the way down as well. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your long weekend.